Hello everybody, this is another Hot Wheels Collector video. Today we're looking at the 62 Corvette Gasser. This is found in the 2023 Hot Wheels main line and is the most recent recolor of this casting. This is found in one of the more recent 2023 cases and will be in most of your local stores right now. So make sure if you haven't already picked this one up, consider it because I think it's an absolutely amazing addition to your collection. And the colour choice of this car suited it amazingly in my opinion. But we'll get into my actual thoughts and opinions of this later on in the video. But for now, let me give you some facts about this car in real life. So I couldn't really find any facts about any particular Gasser. I was not entirely sure if this is actually based off a real Corvette Gasser, or if this is kind of Hot Wheels' own take on this car. But the standard version of this car in real life had a 5.4 litre small block V8, capable of producing many different horsepower figures, starting from 250 horsepower, then there was a 300 horsepower model, 340 horsepower model, and finally a 360 horsepower model. The most popular horsepower figure engine came with 350 pound-feet of torque, which converts to about 473 newton meters of torque. This car also had a 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds, that being the 360 horsepower version of this car. This car also had a top speed of 129 miles per hour, which is very impressive for a car of this era, being a 1960 car, or 1960s car I should say really. When new, this car cost $4,000, which right now is approximately $41,000. Now if you want one of these things, it will cost you about $65,000 in today's money of course. But prices do vary depending on the condition of the car and the spec of the car. One of the main variants about this car is the horsepower figures. As I've said, there's many different models with many different horsepower figures. So that 360 horsepower version will be commanding a lot more money than the 250 horsepower model of this car. Anyways, that's the facts about this car. Now let's get into the actual showcase of this car. Alright, so now it's time for my showcase of this car. So first of all, we'll start off with the side profile of this car. I'll first off start with the wheel choice. So these are the 5 spokes which have been done in a chrome yellow. It's kind of meant to be like a golden colour and it really does suit this car amazingly. I love the colour choice of this car. We'll get into that just in a tiny little bit. But I think the yellow suits this red perfectly. The red choice on this car is not metallic and is just a regular glossy red, but I do think it suits the car perfectly and is very similar to the factory fresh colour which this car came with. Most of the cars produced came with a red colour and a white colour, very similar to this one you see in front of you. So it's quite a nice homage to the original and most popular colour, although there were many other options available back then. Alright, so taking a look at the tamper work on this car, so we'll first of all start off with the rear. We have the number 327. We also have some nice black pinstriping, which runs all the way along to the front fender of this car. Very nice detailing there. We also have the Firestone logo, which has been done in white, as well as the B/G logo. We also have the door handle, as well as the door lock, which have been tampered in black. And we also have the Wholly Equipped logo on the side, that being the main theme of this car and sponsor. It's the Wholly kind of colours, I suppose. There you go, colours. It's kind of like Gulf's baby blue colour. It's quite recognisable. You can also see that white on the side of this car, as well as the Chevrolet logo, which has been done in black. You can also see the Hot Wheels logo, which has been done in gold. That's an interesting colour for the Hot Wheels logo. We don't oftentimes see that. It's usually done in orange and sometimes white as well. But I can't say I've ever seen it done in a gold on a car before. You can also see the Fast Fury logo has also been done in that same gold they used on the Hot Wheels logo. And the final thing I do want to talk about is, well actually there's a few things. The windows, if you can see, hang on, are wound down on the front. And you can also see the side exit exhausts there sticking out of the wheel well. You can also see the base plastic is done in black and is used to create the side skirt of this car, although it's very small there and you can probably barely see it. This casting does not have any wing mirrors, but it is kind of okay because in real life this car would have the silver wing mirrors, which are very hard to cast on Hot Wheels cars. It's just the way they cast them. Anyways, I've talked a lot about this side, so I want to speed this up because I don't want this review to take forever. So let's talk about the front of this car. So on the front we do not have any tampos. The headlights have not been tampoed, but they are carved out, so you could add your own details using Sharpie or acrylic paint. You can also see the grille of this car is created using the interior plastic, which is done in chrome. Now moving on to the hood, we do have some tampo work there. So first of all, most of the hood is done in just red, but you can also see there is this nice tampoing of white there, which surrounds the huge big blower sticking out the hood. And you can also see the black pinstriping returns. Speaking of that big blower, the blower is created using the chrome interior plastic, and that sticks out of the hood. There is a nice cutout in the metal casting there, so that it is able to do that. That's really it for the front of this car. I'll tilt this car around. I will mention this car does have windshield wipers, very nice extra detail there. And we'll talk more about the side now. So this side is the same as the previous. There is absolutely no difference other than this side does have the fuel filler cap on it. Very nice little detail. If you're looking for something specific, you can pause the video here. If not, let's move on to the rear of the car. Alright, so moving on to the rear of the car. The rear lights have not been tampoed, but they are not too noticeable as the entire car is done in red. But if you really are bothered by that, you could add your own details using Sharpie or acrylic paint, the same kind of method as you would use on the front headlights. You can also see the rear bumper is created using that chrome interior plastic, very nice, and continues that factory fresh look. I always love gases because other than that big blower, really this kind of looks stock, and obviously the height of this car is also modified, but other than that it does look stock. You can also see the license plate holder is being created using that chrome interior plastic as well. There is no license plate tampoed, but you could add your own details, once again using Sharpies or acrylic paint, but you could also use stickers. Lots of people decide to do that. Finally, we'll talk about the tampo work. So there is tampo work on the trunk of this car. It's very similar to the tampo work on the hood. So you can see there is some nice pinstriping as well as a nice white dot, and you can also see that white contour returns even. Not conturns. And yeah, very nice. I love that black pinstripe. It looks awesome. I think it's a really nice reoccurring design feature of this recolor. And now speaking about the top of this car or the roof, there is no real detail there, so I'm not going to waste your time going over that, but you can obviously have a look at that yourself. Literally no detail. But the actual cast on that trunk is really nice. It has that little like ridge in the middle. Very nice. And I will mention that the front window is done very interestingly as well. It keeps it accurate to the real life model, but is really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a Hot Wheels model like that, where the window does not actually like go into the roof of this car. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but usually, I'm going to go on a tangent here, and this video is getting long enough already. I can see the time ticking up. I'm sorry guys. But anyways, usually the plastic that is used to create the interior and the windows usually like goes all the way along the inside of the roof, but on this one it mustn't because it actually stopped right there. You can see that there. But anyways, I've wasted enough time there. Let's get into my final thoughts and review of this car. Alright, so now it's time for my final thoughts and review on this car. I'm going to keep this really short because this video is already long enough. I think this is the best version of this car to come out. This car was a new casting last year and was done in brown, I can remember. I didn't really like that design, but I think this one is much nicer, and I think it's going to be very difficult for Hot Wheels to come up with a better design for this car. I think the colours are perfect, and I honestly can't see it becoming any better in the future with any future recolours. But anyways, that leads me on to my score out of 10. What I'm going to give this car out of 10, I'm going to give this car a score of 9 out of 10. I think this is a really nice one, and I highly recommend you pick this one up if you see it in stores. But anyways, that is it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Remember, you can also press that notification bell so you do not miss any new uploads. Remember, you can also share this video with any friends, family, or in any groups who may be interested in this video. But remember, don't feel pressured to if you don't feel like you have anybody who may be interested in this video. You watching this video all the way to the end means so much to me, and I really do thank you for making it all the way up until this point. But anyways, that's really it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye everyone.